Hey everybody, welcome to another action-packed, exciting episode of Scotty's Record Shop. Uh, this probably will be a little bit of a shorter video than usual because the discography I'm looking at is really kind of thin, but very good. Nevertheless, I want to first of all, I want to say hello to all our new subscribers, all two of you, or however many we got since the last video. It's been a couple weeks. Took last week off, wasn't feeling all that good, and it's summertime anyway. I mean, why are you in the house watching videos? Go out and have a good time. There I go. I just shot myself in the foot, but that's okay. So if you're here, obviously you care about Simon and Garfunkel, or at least you want to see what kind of foolishness I'm up to this week. I want to explain how I came to this discography or wanting to do this discography. There's a guy on YouTube, a little YouTuber like me, not a big star celebrity, guy named Matt Wilson. His channel is Matt Wilson 1965, in case you want to look him up. MATT Wilson, all one word. 1965. Look him up. He's a small time YouTuber. Meaning small time, not that he's not good. I really like his videos. I found him about a month ago. Anyway, he started a series like last year, I think, where he started at the year that he was born, which was 1965, and he pulled out, in his case, CDs that are in his collection from the year that he was born, and then he kind of ranks them and he talks about them. He was like 40 or something from 65. Then he did 66, 67, 68. He's up to 80 now, I think. I hope he continues because I'll be curious to see what else he does. Really good channel. Pretty smart guy. He's not flamboyant or anything. It's just he's like I am. You turn on the camera and you just wing it. You know, nothing fancy. Anyway, I watched the one from 1966 and I thought, that's the year I was born and it's 60 years. It'd be kind of interesting for me to initially just go through my collection and see what I have from 66. And then what I ended up doing is it's kind of an ongoing process now, but I spent like a month really just listening to music from the year that I was born, and not just like the pop hits. I pulled out albums. I looked at albums that I didn't know existed or didn't really ever give a chance to. So it's been a real growing experience, and now I'm like up to like 67, 68. But I'm going to continue that too. Just focusing on a year for like a month and just absorb that music. So anyway, during my 66 journey, um, two of the albums that I pulled out were Simon and Garfunkel albums, and I knew them. I grew up with them. But I realized just how great these guys were, you know? It goes without saying. So I thought, since a couple weeks ago we did Ozzy Osbourne, which was, metal and stuff, let's do something totally different. So we're going to look at the discography of Simon and Garfunkel, a short discography. Not going to talk about the live albums, although there are some really nice live albums. Live in New York is Central Park. I'm sorry, is a fantastic album, combination of Simon and Garfunkel and Paul Simon stuff live. Really, really nice album. There's some stuff that came out more recently from some live shows in 69, 67, I believe. They're all really good. But I want to look at the studio discography. Um, so let's get into it, okay? Okay. How many we have? Like five? One, two, three, four, five, just five. But also, just Matt Wilson had made this comment on his video, which is true. If you're looking for, because he likes mono stuff, which I kind of dig too. It came out originally in mono. So he made the point that there's no Simon and Garfunkel stuff available in mono. None of their albums. However, if you look around, you will find some stuff, uh, maybe on eBay. I'm just giving you little hints here, kids. Out of Japan, supposedly, Sounds of Silence and Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme are both available on CD in mono. and they sound wonderful, even though they were taken off the vinyl, mint vinyl, but still. So if you're really interested, there's a way to go. Okay, that is a very long intro. Let's get into it. 5 albums. We'll start off at the very beginning, Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. This is a completely folk album of theirs. It came out in 1964, I believe, or early 65. No, nothing but Paul Simon's guitar and their voices. Uh, Even though this is at the bottom, this is still not bad. No hits on here. Very folky album. Still a really, really, really good listen. I mean, if this was the only thing that they had ever done, my opinion, the only thing that they had ever done, and very well could have been because this didn't go anywhere. I think people would be looking back, especially in folk music realms, and finding this rare lost album and going, you know what, these guys were pretty good. So just because it's at the bottom and there's no hits on it doesn't necessarily mean uh, to ignore it. There you go. Right, Wednesday morning, here's your back cover. And on these particular reissues, it's really kind of nice. I won't show them all, but it has the original Columbia 2i label. The way it was, but it is in stereo. Okay, these next two, I still want to switch them. That's how they're the same to me. Not in a bad way, but I feel the same way about them. I love them both, but I really have a hard time putting one over the other. And just to kind of maybe be a contrarian kind of attitude, I'm going to do it in a way that maybe other people don't, just even though it's whatever. Their third album, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. This is a wonderful album. There were hits on here. They were making hits at this particular point in time. Just a wonderful album from the tail end of 1966. This was one of those albums that I pulled out and was like, yeah, I really love these guys still. So anyway, number 4, again, just because it's towards the bottom, right, doesn't mean that it's bad. It's great. It really is great. Their second album, which honestly, the whole process of this happening, Paul Simon went to, after the first album, this album didn't go anywhere. Paul Simon was like, I'm out of here. He went to England. He recorded an album called the Paul Simon Songbook. In 1965, it was issued only in the UK, I believe, on Columbia over there. And at least for a while, we can get it now here on CD. Actually, at some point, I'm going to do a Paul Simon video as well, and we'll look at that album. That had a lot of songs that you would come to know, and a lot of them some of them would appear on this, but most of them would appear on this. Now, this came to be because basically Sounds of Silence, which was originally on here, same version, same guitar and vocals, nothing more, gets refurbished, gets a new lease of life while Paul Simon is in the UK because of the Byrds making their big thing on Columbia and having that whole folk rock thing, doing Dylan stuff. Some bright guy said, let's put some drums and guitars to that song. It's a good song. Let's make it a hit. And boy, did they make it a hit. Number 1, they called Paul Simon back in England and said, you might want to come back to the United States. You have a hit on your hands. So they came back and they did this album. They took some of the stuff from the Paul Simon songbook, which were all great songs, and redid them. And what you get is this fantastic album at the beginning of 1966, The Sounds of Silence. Really, this is probably The Sounds of Silence. Just, it's kind of amazing how with the younger folks, I sound like an old guy, don't I? Because I am an old guy. The younger folks have really latched on to that song. They have. It's a great song, but that song is going to live forever. If there's maybe the only other song that I could think of that Paul Simon wrote out of his many amazing songs that will probably be played forever is Bridge Over Troubled Water. But Sounds of Silence, man. What a great song. Even though the musicianship on it is a bit sloppy, I think it was thrown together haphazardly as far as the electric guitars and the bass and the drums. They did the best they could. Still a great friggin' song and a great friggin' album. And it's number 3. Number 2. These two kind of flip-flop. Actually, number 2 is actually probably the best album they ever made. It's certainly the biggest album they ever made, commercially. And it was the last album they ever made. Full album. Talking about Bridge Over Troubled Water. Here's an interesting thing. Interesting note. I'm going to pull out this because I usually don't show this. This has the Columbia 70s label. You can see that, I hope. But the reality was, when you bought this album, when it first came out, the very, very first run, show it to you again, it actually had this label right at the beginning. And I actually have a copy of that, a very early press of it. The music's the same and everything, but just wanted to point that little oddity out about this weird box set. It's like, get it right, kids. Anyway, what can you say about this record? Just amazing. Just amazing. Bridge Over, they won pretty much every Grammy they could have won pertaining to this album. And then they broke up. They had the biggest success they had, and they broke up. And like I said, over the years, they've gotten together. They've recorded some songs together. And they were beautiful, but never really a full album other than the Live in Central Park album, which is a wonderful album. Anyway, number 2, Bridge Over Troubled Water from 1970. Number 1, you can find this one in mono. If you have a mono copy of this on vinyl, you got yourself a prize because it was very limited. This came out right when mono was being phased out. Talking about bookends. Is there any filler on this? Some people there's a little section here where the old folks are talking, right? Old friends. And that's kind of, and honestly, this record for me starts off really jarring. Really, I can't explain it. Just really, you have to listen to how this album starts. It's not the way you're expecting a Simon and Garfunkel album to start. Okay. Once you get over that, it is just another fantastic album. Again, if you want this on mono on CD, that is a little harder to find. That's a lot harder to find. I looked recently just to see on some websites to see, is this, can you get it? And I didn't see any. I have a digital copy of it that I found from somebody, which sounds good. But a fantastic album. And for today, don't ask me even later on today, because it might change. But for this moment in time, today, my favorite Simon & Garfunkel album. And I won't think about it too much, because if I do, then this one will take over. So we're going to leave it at there, right? Again, thank you to all of you who watch these things. I really sincerely appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share. Go visit Matt Wilson, 1965. I don't know if he'll even catch wind of this. I'll probably leave a message for him on one of his videos. He's got to get back to it. He hasn't made a video for a couple weeks. So here I am talking about that, right? But anyway, again, thank you. Sincerely appreciate all of this. Like, subscribe, share, blah, 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 blah. And as always, until next time, peace and love.